Hello there folks, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming as we all go on our individual journeys to Chap Nirvana. So it's time for a question and answer video again. No specific theme to these, it's just all different questions that chaps have sent in, and I'm going to take my opportunity here to respond to some. Now, I absolutely encourage you to drop me a question in the comment section below the video, or even drop me an email. If you go to the About tab on the YouTube channel, my email address is there. It comes directly to my personal email. I will endeavour to answer your queries as and when they come in, or I'll hold them to one side and make a Q&A video from time to time just like this. So please send me your thoughts, your views, and I'll do my best to answer your queries. Again, this is just me giving you my observations. I am not an expert, I am not a guru, I'm just a chap on my journey to Chap's Nirvana, the same as you. So my first question comes in from a chap called Ronnie Hat. And Ronnie says, "Hello Ash, I wonder if you have any tips on building your confidence when wearing classic menswear and in life in general. I turned 30 years of age this year and I finally feel like a fully fledged adult, but still unsure of myself at the same time. Keep up the great work." Well, thanks Ronnie. Wish I was 30 again. I would say that for a start. You are embarking on probably the zenith of your adult life, so enjoy every minute of it. Before you know it, you'll be over 50 and the hill starts to go down. So when it comes to confidence, now's the time to grip it. When it comes to confidence when wearing classic menswear, how do I feel? I guess I know what you mean. When you go out and about, if you're an intentionally well-dressed man, you often attract the sideways glances or even open stares of people who don't appreciate dressing well, or even you have to field comments like, "Where are you going? Is there a special occasion happening? What are you trying to prove by dressing up while your co-workers are casual?" How do you overcome that? How do you gain the confidence to be well dressed? Well, for me, I reflect upon the reasons why I seek to be well dressed. In my own case, it's something that's been instilled in me. My father, my parents taught me that you dress well because it reflects well upon you as an individual. If you're smart and well turned out, people draw an inference about you as a person by the way that you present yourself. When people first see you, before they get to know you, all they can do is see what they see, and if you're smart, they form a good impression. So that's why I dress quite well. My life journey particularly took me into the military as a young man, and again, the military instills upon you the virtues of being well dressed, being well turned out, and the impression that forms in others. The reason why the military shine their boots and iron their uniforms to get those sharp creases is because they want to stand out from the crowd, to be seen to be better than the ordinary. You stand above others because you've taken the effort to look better. I reflect upon the reasons why I dress like that, and that gives me confidence. And I answer in that fashion. If people ask me, "Why are you all dressed up?" I will tell them, I want to look my very best. I want to demonstrate to the world that I'm a well put together man. That's why I'm wearing a shirt and tie. I could just wear a polo shirt, but I choose to look like this because I want to look good. I often think of the iconic figures who've gone before me in the past. A character which I often see in association with David Niven, a great character, an actor, a successful actor, a war hero, a patriot, a man who very much lived the life, which I think is absent in many gentlemen in the modern era. And he was always well turned out, yet casual when he was on holiday and in times of personal, relaxation. So I think a bit like that. I live the life, or try and emulate the icons that I know have led good lives, and they dressed in the way that they did. And the truth is, I know my own mind. I feel good and confident when I dress in a certain fashion. So I really don't care about the naysayers. People who say to you, "Why are you dressed like that? You're overdressed. You're showing everybody else up because you're wearing a collar and tie in the office and the rest of us are wearing t-shirts." Well, that's your choice, my friend. If you are happy dressing like that, that's absolutely fine. I enjoy and love dressing like this. So that's why I do. So I hope you found that some use. Find inside yourself, the inner confidence that comes with being an intentionally well-dressed man, and that will propel you to greater spheres of success in your life. Now, my next question is watch related, and it's from Mark Stark 1138, and he says, I only have one luxury watch, and that's an Omega Seamaster. Good choice. I'm going to my authorised dealer next week, and I will be talking to them about my desire to own a Rolex Submariner. I will be explaining to them that I'm saving up for one. I don't want to be put on a list just yet, since I don't quite have the money, but when I have, I want to go on the list to buy a steel Submariner. I don't know if this is a good or bad way to do it. I don't want to seem impulsive. I hope my honesty with the authorised dealer will help. Well, Mark, the reality is here, if you want to own a Rolex Submariner, don't delay, right? Go to see your authorised dealer. I applaud your strength of character, your honesty, that you want to say to them, I don't have the money right now, but I want to buy one in the future. Can I go on the list when that time arises? The fact is, if you go into any authorised dealer in the Western world, and I don't know where you're from, but if you're from Europe or North America or Great Britain, the truth is, if you want a Submariner, you will have a sizable wait before you can get that watch. So, and it's likely to be 12 months, 24 months. I honestly don't know. As you say, you don't previously have a Rolex spend sort of history with an authorised dealer, as you own an Omega Seamaster. So the truth is, you're not going to get bumped up the list as a priority customer. You're beginning a relationship afresh with your AD. So get in there and get your name on the list. Do not mention you don't have the money. Tell them, I want to buy a watch. I want to go on the list for the Submariner. I love watches. Point to your Seamaster. Tell them that you're a watch enthusiast. The fact you've got an Omega Seamaster is a really good plus point. It opens a conversation with the authorised dealer. It gives you the opportunity to convey to them that you love dive watches and you want to make the Submariner your sort of grail piece. It's a watch that you want for the rest of your life as an aficionado, and they will see that in you, because remember, it is the authorised dealer's goal to make sure that these highly desirable watches reach the people who will love them and enjoy them the most. The last thing they want to do is sell it to somebody who's going to sell it on for a profit, because a Submariner these days is going to be worth 40% more than its retail price the moment you walk out through the door. So if it's a £7,000 watch, it's immediately worth 10,000 the moment you leave that shop. So they want to make sure that people are not going to abuse the relationship with Rolex. So enter into that conversation. Once you've been in there and expressed a preference, make it a point to pop back into that authorised dealer and speak to the same customer service agent every time you go in. Remind them that you are interested in that watch. You're looking forward to it coming. Ask them, is there any news? How is the flow of Rolex going? Have you had many Submariners in lately? Whatever is necessary to build a relationship, that is how you will achieve that watch in any reasonable amount of time. So don't delay, don't wait. Saying that you want one in the future when you've saved the money, to be honest, if you're offered a Submariner before you have the money, this is one occasion where I would recommend, finding the money. Go out there, borrow some off somebody you know, get a loan, extend your credit card, because money in a Rolex Submariner is not money lost. It is money invested that is only going to go one way, upwards. Don't delay. Get in there, get it sorted. Okay, so next question. And this is a question from Fred Breadbun. Firstly, Mr. Jones, what do you think of frock coats and formal ascots? Many think them antiquated, but I think they look smashing. Also, is it appropriate to wear a waistcoat on its own around the house as one might wear a woolen tank top? Other than that, love the channel, keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Fred. It's my joy to have you along here on the channel. Quick answer to some of those questions. Waistcoat, wearing it around the house? Absolutely, I do the same. I have a tweed waistcoat, which I often wear when it's not cold enough to wear a cardigan or a woolen sweater in the house, but it's just a little bit more than wearing just a shirt itself. So absolutely, wear the waistcoat, and sometimes I wear it out and about. It doesn't bother me at all. Frock coat, well, A little bit more caution required there, my friend. I can understand why some might think it antiquated, because I have to say, I cannot remember the last time that I saw somebody wearing a frock coat in public, unless they were on their way to Ascot or attending an investiture or something like that. It is a highly unusual item to wear in the modern era, and unless you live in a exceptionally libertarian environment, somewhere like London perhaps, you could get away with it because of its very diverse clothing structures there in the city, from the very smartest to the very most casual and everything in between. You are going to stand out from the crowd. You do run the risk of being identified as perhaps something of an eccentric. That's absolutely fine though, if that's the dash that you're trying to cut in this world. It will work for you, but I would say wear it with caution. Do not be wearing it to events where you seek to make an impression with people you've never met before. So if you're going for a job interview, you're going to meet friends for the first time, or wherever it may be, you're going on a date, the frock coat is fine if it's a reflection of your personality, but just remember how it may impact upon the people that you may encounter. So wear it with caution. And the ascot. Sir, I am an absolute fan of the ascot. I've got 2 arriving in the post today. I've recently ordered from my good friends at Soho Scarves. I very much look forward to those. The ascot is cool, regardless of what people say, including my wife. She doesn't like them. But the ascot is a fabulous piece of neckwear, which is a great alternative to the necktie, and certainly better than wearing no adornment at all at your collar. So yes, do wear the ascot, but again, think about where you're going to wear it, how or the impact it may have upon the people you encounter. It is slightly left of centre in the modern world, so don't be wearing it to a job interview, don't be wearing it on a first date, but absolutely, let's make ascots, or cravats as we call them here in the UK, cool again. Okay, next question from The Gent. Good name, sir. 2-part question here. Point number 1, what would you count as the main traits in a modern gentleman? That's a broad question. And point 2, do you see the gentleman of the 21st century wearing less formal style clothing? So, point 1, what are the traits of a gentleman in the modern era? Well, I would say it's too broad to answer in just 1 or 2 sentences, but I will say what I believe, that a gentleman is defined by the way that he treats other people. It doesn't matter how you look, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, it doesn't matter what class you come from or what direction you're going in life. The way that you treat people that you encounter today, regardless of what's going on in your life. You might just have suffered a terrible tragedy, you might have had a loss, a bereavement, you might have lost a fortune, you might have gained a fortune, you might have lost your job or just acquired your dream job. It doesn't matter. The way that you treat people on your journey is what will define you as a gentleman. And a gentleman is just a longer form version of what I term as a chap. So as a chap, as a gentleman, treat people well and you will attain the respect of those around you. Take interest in the people around you as well. Remember, this world is not about you. It's about the impact that you make within it. So take interest in the lives and activities of people around you, those people on the periphery. Raise up the unoverlooked, and they will appreciate you for it. They will respect you, and take interest in your fellow man. So I hope that's not too philosophical for you, but there we go. Do you see the gentleman of the 21st century dressing less formally? Short answer, yes I do. The degradation of men's formal style is definitely on a downward trajectory. We've seen it over the last generation, since the 1970s perhaps. The casualization of daily life is definitely speeding up. You go into any office these days and you'd be lucky if even the chief executive is wearing a tie, because people now are enjoying the less formal life. But like all trends, I'm sure that at some point it will rebound. It will, once everybody is as casual as they can possibly be. The way that people will wish to define themselves from their contemporaries will then be to wear a tie, because you will stand out from everybody else. Because let's be honest, people do things about their dress so that they look different to everybody else. If we didn't feel that way, we would all be wearing exactly the same uniform of clothing, and we would all be like this proletariat who all look exactly the same. So at the moment, the direction is going downwards. It's going casual. We set ourselves apart by wearing less formal clothing. You can only get as informal as you can. Once you hit that rock bottom of casuality, then we'll start going backwards again. So us intentionally well-dressed men who enjoy wearing a tie and a pocket square or a cravat and a waistcoat, then we will be on the ascendancy again. So yes, I think we will still have the stage though at the moment, because I think that casualization is still going downwards, but you know, when it turns, we will be ahead of the game. And let's be honest, we still look the sharpest dressed man in any room right now, so let's not complain about that casuality. Okay, I think we can probably squeeze in another one or two. A question here from Super Travis Bickle, and he says, it would be interesting to hear about some cheap sources of menswear that is still of decent quality. So many high street stores are no good these days. It would be great to know if there are still any up to scratch. Excuse me. Well, the truth is, this is becoming more and more of a challenge, particularly in the last few years, because you know, many of the traditional modestly priced but still fairly good quality stores that I used to go to. So I used to buy my suits from a suit company here in the UK called Jaeger. You know, last year they wound up, they sold over 200 of their stores. Jaeger now is now a sub-brand of Marks and Spencer, the department store. So it's no longer, you know, a good design, innovative suit company of good quality. Crombie, I've got a couple of Crombie blazers, I've got Crombie overcoats. They were founded in 1805. Last year, they went into liquidation. So you see these great companies, again, relatively modest price, starting to lose their position in the world. You know, once they've gone off the high street, they're never coming back. Let's be honest, they're never coming back. And even more recent stores like TM Lewin, shirt company, suit company, they wound up all of their stores last year as well. And we're seeing all of these classic menswear outlets now disappearing. So if you are an intentionally well-dressed man, where do you go to find your clothing? And it's hard. Right now, the place I personally go to, I have to admit, is eBay. Many of the items that I wear, shirts, blazers, particularly good quality leather footwear, I am sourcing from eBay because they're very cheap and you can get some, you know, brand new items, you know, new old stock, so to speak, at incredible prices, because there's no longer, as we spoke in the last question, there's no longer this desire to dress formally. So you can achieve outstanding bargains and deals by shopping around on eBay. Other than that, it's really difficult. I mean, I don't think it's possible to get good at cheap, right? Those two words are incongruous to each other. For me, I rather these days, my ideology about dressing well is rather than buy inexpensive items, and a number of them which are going to wear out and they're not going to look good when I'm wearing them, I would rather save up a bit of money, right? I either buy them secondhand or I save up a bit of money and then I source something which is a little bit better, and I'd rather invest my cash in something which is good. So I'd rather have one good item than two or three inexpensive items. A good example is knitwear. Last year, up to that point, I used to wear modestly priced knitwear. You know, I would shop in Marks and Spencer's. I would often find myself wearing, you know, non-natural materials. So acrylics, you know, in scarves or jumpers, things like that. Last year, I made the conscious decision. I cleared all that out of my wardrobe and I decided to buy only wool, cashmere or merino. Natural fabrics make the best material for making, you know, sweaters. I purchased a couple of shawl-collared cardigans from a small British company called North Sea Clothing. Yes, they were much more expensive than I would have bought if I'd gone shopping in Marks and Spencer. But I can tell you now, 100% British wool, manufactured in my own country. I know that is outstanding quality, and it is going to last for 10 years, right? As long as I look after it, I maintain it well, I wash it appropriately, I mend it when it needs mending, they're going to last me for 10 years. So the investment is well made. Stanley Briggs, another sweater company I found last year, a little bit more money, a bit cheaper than North Sea Clothing, but their clothing is first class, but dearer than you'll find on the high street. So what I do now to get my clothing, I go niche. I find these small companies churning out high quality items, and that's where I make my investment. Cheap and good, when it comes to men clothing, rarely coexist in the same space. And you would be wise perhaps to look away from cheap, either look pre-owned with eBay, or make a bit more of an investment for something that's going to look good and last longer in a better item. So I hope you found that useful. I think that's just about enough for today. We've spoken for long enough, I think. I hope you've enjoyed the answers to those questions that you've sent in. I thank you for sending those questions in, and I would encourage you to continue to do so. So drop me a question in the comment section below, or particularly send me an email, and I'll try and answer you as soon as I can, or put it into a future video that I hope will be of benefit to you. So until the next time, keep looking sharp, keep dressing well, and I will see you again very soon.